Hello friends, welcome to Cafe Bagheri. The fall season is upon us and the holidays are around the corner. So to our friends in the States, I say an early happy Thanksgiving, and to everyone else, happy Wednesday. To prepare for the coming Turkey Day, we thought it's a great idea to share our family's favorite Thanksgiving treat with all of you today. So we're going to be making, thank you, a holiday pumpkin roll. It's a tasty spiced pumpkin cake wrapped around a delicious cream cheese frosting. So let's get cooking. Okay, we're gonna start with our dry ingredients minus the sugar. So we kind of stir together our dry ingredients, then we go to the wet ingredients, make our cake. So we got baking powder and baking soda. This is our cloves and cinnamon, ground cloves and ground cinnamon. This is that kind of holiday spice part of this, right? Regular table salt here. And we give this a little whisk to make sure it all is mixed together. Okay, so this is now ready. We put it aside. We're going to go to our wet stuff. 3 eggs, 3 large eggs. And this is the last one. All right, so quick comment, you can go figure 8, as they always say for baking stuff. My technique is I go left and right and then turn the bowl. So we put our cup of sugar in there. Now, the sugar and eggs, you just beat it until it's light in color. This is now ready to take on our pumpkin puree. Natural 100% pumpkin. If you have actual pumpkins that you can puree, that works. Otherwise, just get the 100% pumpkin product in the cans. They're in the seasonal section, center aisle of your grocery store. This time of year, you can find it anywhere. 100% pumpkin. There you go. That's about 2/3 of a cup, I believe. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna give this just a quick whisk or mix. Once or twice during this process, you push down the sides, the stuff that's on the sides of the bowl, to make sure you achieve a more consistent mix, like so. So any sugar and pumpkin or whatever is splattered against the side, you push it back in. Now, here on out, the less you use your hand mixer, the fluffier and softer your final cake's gonna be. So we are going to add the dry ingredients that we have pre-mixed, goes in there. And now we're going to use our little spatula to fold this in. Do not use the whisk or the mixer for the flour, because your cake will end up being hard. So you want it fluffy and kind of softer, if you will. Now make sure that if you see any clumps or little masses of flour that are stuck together, just push them down and smash them, and continue doing this for 2 to 3 minutes to make sure everything has incorporated and mixed. The folding is done. What we're gonna do is we're gonna use our hand whisk to do one more stir like that, to find and break up any clumps of dry flour that may still be in there. Worst thing is to be biting a beautiful, tasty pumpkin roll with your coffee or whatever, and then a little pocket of dry flour will show up in your mouth. That's not good. Now, this is your batter. It's ready to be basically poured in the pan and cooked. We use a 10 by 15, also known as a jelly roll pan, okay? So, in order for the paper to adhere to this pan, I'm going to use a spray. Regular olive oil or cooking spray will do. Just a gentle layer of oil here. You don't need a lot. You get your paper and just kind of push it down and fold the corners to make sure it stays in there. See, I'm giving it a little crease here. Look at that. See? So it will stay down. This is what we're going for. Our batter is ready to be poured into the pan. I don't want to waste any of this. With a combination of a offset spatula, I don't have a big one. This is a narrow, small offset spatula, but it will work in this case. We're going to use it to push the soft batter to all corners of this pan. A bigger offset spatula would have made it a little easier, but it's fine. Once you push the batter everywhere, then you will use gravity and just by shaking and stomping the pan on the table to make sure that it settles consistently everywhere. You don't want your cake to be thicker on one side and thinner on the other. So our batter is ready to go in the oven. Now, these are some walnuts that we've chopped up. This is completely optional, and you can use other kinds of nuts. If you want to just go with a cake without nuts and without the crunch in the final roll, you can do that. I like to add some walnuts on the top of this. There you go. So you need about half a cup to a cup of nuts. Depends on how much of this you want. I think this is enough. So although the recipe says 1 cup, but it's just up to you. And it is optional. You can just skip it. So we have the oven preheated to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Start checking at 11 minutes, but it could go up to 15 depending on your oven. So you have to see how your oven behaves. All right, while our cake is baking, we're halfway through that, we're going to make our rolling capability here. We got a standard kitchen towel. You want one with no texture, right? You want it as smooth as possible. We're going to sprinkle some powdered sugar on the surface of this towel. When the cake comes out of the oven, we're going to put it on here, and the powdered sugar is so that it won't stick to the towel. The towel acts as the form to keep the cake in a curved shape until we're ready to put the filling in it, okay? Put the powdered sugar in a sieve and just sift it onto the towel. You don't want to overwhelm it, but you also need enough that it will provide a barrier between the cake and the towel, so the towel can serve its purpose of keeping the cake in shape but not stick to it. It's a fine balance, and once you do this a few times, you will learn how much powdered sugar is enough. A couple of tablespoons is enough. All right, so we're done with that. That's ready to go. So it's been 13 minutes and our cake is ready to go. So we're going to flip it over on the prepared towel. It's kind of tricky. Don't burn yourself. Place it centrally on the sugared part of this towel. We immediately remove the parchment paper. So if you did everything right, it should come off pretty easily. You're gonna have some residue on the paper, but that's okay. Remember, this is the inside of your cake. This is where the filling goes. If you roll it from the long end, obviously you're gonna have a longer roll with smaller diameter, makes smaller pieces, and it feeds more people, but you won't get as pretty a swirl in the middle, right? But if you roll it from the short end like we're doing, you get a better defined design in your roll and it looks prettier, but the pieces are bigger, and that's what we're going for, right there. So now this is rolled and it has to cool down. We have a rack ready here so the air can flow all around. This will take somewhere between 40 to 45 minutes to cool down, and then we're going to put our filling in there. So my cake is rolled in the towel and it's cooling off. While that's going on, which is going to be about 40-45 minutes, I'm going to make the sweet filling. The basic ingredients are 8 ounces of cream cheese. Let it sit in room temperature to soften a little bit. We got our softened butter. Again, the recipe is in the comments. Now we're going to start by mixing the butter and cream cheese. Again, you do this at the slowest speed of your mixer. The softer and warmer your cream cheese and butter are, the easier this part will be. But inevitably, as you mix it, the molecules get excited and you will warm up the mixture anyways, and it will get easier. So now we're going to sift our powdered sugar into the butter and cheese mixture. You don't want any clumps in this powdered sugar. If you live in an area especially that has some humidity, like we do in North Texas, sifting like this helps the consistency and softness of the filling. So the last bit of it, see, these are the clumps we were trying to get rid of. Just kind of push them through. You don't want to waste anything. And that's all she wrote right there. So in order to avoid making a mess by the dust going around and getting everywhere, you start first with your spatula, kind of pushing the cream cheese and butter and the sugar together to get that incorporation started. We're gonna finish this off with the mixer a little bit. Now while I'm doing this, before I use my mixer, I'm gonna add the vanilla extract. This recipe calls for about a teaspoon. I know by experience that about 1.5 of these capfuls is a teaspoon, okay? And we're ready to start using our machine there. We're gonna push down the sides one time before we finish this to make sure we get a consistent mix. Again, this is very important. Towards the end, I increased the speed to get everything off of the attachments. We have our filling, our frosting ready to go. It's been 45 minutes. Our cake has been sitting here on the rack and it's cool. So we're gonna open it up. You see it's kind of kept our cake in the shape we want. We start. The only thing you need to remember as far as positioning this frosting is on the two ends that are going to be on the outside of the roll, leave about 1/2 inch because it's going to be pushed out. I'm going to put all of it on here and then work it with a spatula or offset spatula, making sure that we get a consistent thickness, especially in the beginning. This is going to be the core of your roll, right? Make sure you push this frosting into this crease here. Now once I've done the initial pass, I'm going to get my offset spatula, which is a little more straight edge right here. You really need a bigger offset spatula, but this is all I have right now. I need to go out and buy one. Just pushing this around. And once you start rolling, the actual act of rolling takes over and redistributes this, pushes it along as you roll it. There you go. This is really all you need to do. Just make sure you go all to the edge, minus the 1/2 inch that I talked about. So we are now ready to do this. We're going to start from this inside edge and just make it as, so pinch it down. So if you did this right, the cake is moist and won't break. There you go. Remove the cloth. I'm going to get some plastic wrap over the surface. You just kind of roll it over. So the roll is now ready. We're going to put it in the fridge for an hour, preferably overnight, so it can chill and solidify, and then it's ready to cut. We're done. There you have it, my friends, holiday pumpkin roll. If you make this at home, please send me pictures. I like to see them. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And don't forget to hit that little bell icon so we can keep in touch. Happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving, and I hope to see you right here very soon.